as promised, the second PlayStation is going to need refurbishing. Not this one, but this one. This is a 7502 model, and this one has a parallel port. This will be my personal PS1 unit, the one that I'm going to keep. Now I need a parallel port for a specific reason. I am going to install a PSIO Modchip in here, which is an optical drive emulator, which communicates through the parallel port. This PS1 isn't really that bad looking. It has some scuffs on top, but again, that eject button is stuck, a problem with many PlayStations. It is however dirty, there's dust and it's very lightly yellowed, so I'm going to clean this one before installing the PSIO Modchip. Let me hook it up first to see if it works. I popped in a burn disk and it boots. That's not really a surprise. Most PS1s I have purchased have a Modchip installed. It's a common phenomenon, dating from that late 90s era. Let's begin opening it. Nothing more than just dust, easily removable with that dust blower. Time for further disassembling. The lens itself will not be used because of the PSIO mod, which bypasses the use for it. Removing the shield reveals, wait, what? Next to not having its protective PCB shield, there's also the saddest way of covering up a Modchip for protection. Removing the screws here and blowing out some more dust while disassembling. I also clean out the top cover of the PS1, and I also remove the eject button as it needs cleaning. Let's clean out the dust the hard way first, with a brush and with a dust blower, before moving on dumping the parts in a bucket of hot water again. Of course, not the joystick module and the motherboard. Now here's something new I want to test, which actually worked miraculously. These are magic wipes by Bison. I have never tried these before, and actually I bought these to remove paint and sticker residue, like the one on top here of the PS1, but something else happened instead. It removed the light yellowing on the plastic parts. I have to say it's not a replacement for retro brighting, but works sufficient enough for that light yellow blemish. Even these memory cards that are light yellow turned out original gray again. Time to bathe all those parts. The power and eject button need a bit of lubing to counter that crappy push-in shown before. Once the dirt has softened on those plastic parts, I rinse it underneath a faucet. Back to the motherboard. I want to remove the installed Modchip in here in some manner. I desolder the cables at first. However, the Modchip is glued down with superglue. Removing the Modchip board would damage the chip underneath, so this is as far as I will go. Now to finally install that PSIO Modchip. This chip will allow disk images to be run from an SD card. Like I said in another video, I just hate standing up to insert and swap disks, so this is a welcome solution. This mod requires that I cut some traces on the motherboard, which I do. I solder the supplied Kainou wire onto the specified points. I am pretty confident in my soldering skills these days, but I have no experience into cutting traces. I am known with the methods, but this was a hit or miss for me, and to be dead honest, this all looks cool, but it really didn't work out. Somehow the installation kinda looked good, so I hooked up the PlayStation 1 and it only showed me the original boot up screen. So I opened up the PlayStation again, trying to resolder some things, and it filled kinda heavily. It would display an image, but it didn't give any audio feed. So I went online and bought a new PlayStation 1. However, since this was my first time cutting traces, I went to an acquaintance of mine. Her name is Josefien. And Josefien is a specialist when it comes to PlayStation modding, and she did an excellent and professional PSOI mod. And this is the result. There was also a Modchip inside this one, and it has its shielding still intact. I also gave her the broken PS1 unit, which she repaired. Apparently, I did not cut the traces enough, and I also broke a bias point. With that settled and the unit open again, I clean it out completely in the same way as I did with the previous one, and loop up the gears and springs. Hooked up and everything works just fine. Oh, and out of boredom, I replaced the original green LED light with a new bright blue one. That's at least one thing that worked out fine. So PSIO works flawless, and I get to keep the disk drive, which I will never use. Thanks to Josefien, this PS1 console turned out awesome. The review video on the PSIO will follow up shortly, but I want to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. A subscribe is highly appreciated, as well as leaving a comment on what you think. Just let me know, and I'll see you on the next video.